Hello and welcome to our channel. We are really glad you joined us today, and we hope you will enjoy our journey into the story of A Time to Kill. If this piece of work inspires you, then please like this video, subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification bell, and share it with your family and friends. Your support will encourage us to work on more expeditions. Today, we re-diving into a film that isn't just a courtroom drama, an emotional battleground, a story that pushes us to question justice, morality, and the boundaries of human compassion. Before we begin, let me ask you something. What would you do if the system that promised justice failed to protect the person you love the most? This is the haunting question at the heart of A Time to Kill, now streaming on Netflix. And it's the question that has kept audiences talking for almost 3 decades. The moment this movie begins, it grabs you by the heart with a tragedy so brutal that it shakes the entire community of Canton, Mississippi. And yet, behind the violence and rage lies a deeper story of a father's desperation, a lawyer's moral struggle, and a town tearing itself apart over a single case. As we step into this journey together, imagine the heat of the Mississippi summer, the weight of the courthouse walls, the tension in every whisper, every protest, every news headline. Imagine a community split in two, torn between law and emotion, between what is right and what is legal. The film challenges us to confront uncomfortable truths about race, justice, and empathy, and forces us to see the world through someone else's eyes. Throughout this video, we'll explore the emotional depth of the characters, the shocking events that ignite the story, and the powerful message that still resonates in America today. So sit back and let us walk into the heart of a courtroom where a single verdict could either heal a commune or set it on fire. The story of A Time to Kill unfolds in the fictional town of Canton, Mississippi, during a time when racial tension, social inequality, and political pressure were woven into the very fabric of everyday life. To truly understand this story, we must first understand the world. It takes place in a world where justice does always mean fairness, and where the color of someone's skin can often determine the outcome of a legal battle. Mississippi in the 1980s carried the echoes of a past filled with segregation, discrimination, and a justice system struggling to be truly fair. The film brilliantly captures this tension in the air, showing the small town streets lined with old buildings, courthouse pillars standing tall like silent witnesses, and people who carry generations of fear, anger, and mistrust inside them. This setting isn't just a backdrop, it is a character in itself. The heat is heavy, the air feels thick with unspoken words, and the divided glances exchanged by people on either side of the courtroom speak louder than any dialogue. The moment Carl Lee Hailey is arrested, the whole town becomes a battleground where emotions overpower logic, and where everyone, politicians, lawyers, police officers, and ordinary citizens, must choose a side. This atmosphere shapes every decision made in the story. Judges feel pressured, jurors feel watched, and lawyers feel the weight of the entire community on their shoulders. The era also reflects the real-life inspirations behind John Grisham's novel. Grisham witnessed cases in Mississippi that exposed how vulnerable the justice system could be when race and politics interfered. And so, this isn't just a movie, it is a mirror held up to a society still wrestling with issues that continue to echo even today. The story takes its devastating turn when a young black girl named Tanya Haley experiences a horrific assault at the hands of 2 white men, Billy Ray Cobb and Pete Willard. The film handles this tragedy with sensitivity, but it does not shy away from the brutality of the event, because it is this trauma that becomes the emotional core of the narrative. Tanya is only 10 years old, innocent and joyful, unaware that her life is about to be shattered in a moment. Her attackers treat her as less than human, leaving her beaten, tortured, and thrown away as if her life had no value. When Tonya is found, barely alive, the entire world of the Haley family collapses. Her father, Carl Lee, rushes to the hospital, witnessing the unimaginable pain of his daughter. This moment captures something universal: the terror of a parent seeing their child hurt, unable to undo the damage. Carl Lee realizes something that terrifies him. Even more, he knows these men might walk free. He has lived long enough in Mississippi to understand the loopholes, biases, and unfairness woven into the justice system. He knows the odds are stacked against his daughter, not because of what happened, but because of who she is. So Carl Lee makes a decision born not from anger, but from desperation, a decision that will change the entire town forever. He believes that if the system cannot protect his child, then he must when the two attackers are escorted through the courthouse hallway. Carl Lee steps out of the shadows with a rifle in his hands and pulls the trigger. The gunshots echo like thunder, and in that single moment, the line between justice and revenge becomes blurred. What follows is not just a murder trial, it is a confrontation between morality and law. After Carl Lee pulls the trigger, chaos erupts. Police officers rush toward him, reporters scream for answers, and the courthouse hallway fills with smoke, confusion, and panic. Carl Lee doesn't resist. He doesn't run. He places his weapon down and willingly surrenders, standing silently as he's handcuffed. His face reveals both sorrow and determination, a father who has done what he believed he had to do. This quiet acceptance sets the tone for the rest of the film. He knows the consequences, yet he also knows his heart was fueled by a father's love. But the arrest splits the town like lightning. The black community sees Carl Lee as a man who protected his daughter when the system likely wouldn't. Many white residents, however, see him as a cold-blooded murderer who took justice into his own hands. The debates begin almost instantly in barbershops, diners, church halls, and street corners. Everyone has an opinion about whether Carl Lee should walk free or pay the price. And suddenly, the case becomes bigger than Tanya. It becomes a symbol of racial tension, fear, and old wounds reopened. The media intensifies the pressure. Reporters flood the town, turning the courthouse into a stage where every expression, every word, every decision becomes national news. Politicians begin to smell opportunity, lawyers begin to plot strategies, and protesters gather daily, some demanding justice for Tanya, others demanding punishment for Carl Lee. Meanwhile, Carl Lee's family is thrust into danger. His wife fears the repercussions. His daughter struggles with trauma, and Carl Lee is left alone in his jail cell to wrestle with the question: did he save his daughter's life or destroy his own? The town is no longer just watching his kiss, they're living inside it. Jake Brigance is a young, passionate lawyer trying to build his career in Canton. He's good at what he does, sharp, intelligent, and quietly bold, but he's not wealthy, not powerful, and definitely not prepared for a case that could destroy him. When Carl Lee chooses Jake to defend him, Jake is shocked. He knows this case is radioactive. Anyone who touches it risks losing their business, their reputation, and even their life. But Jake also knows Carl Lee, not as a murderer, but as a hardworking father who loves his family. Jake initially hesitates. He understands the weight of the case. He knows the jury might already be against Carl Lee, simply because of race. He knows the district attorney will come at them full force, and he knows that defending Carl Lee could put his own family in danger. But deep down, Jake also knows that if he doesn't take this case, no one will fight for Carl Lee with the same heart. Something inside him, morality, empathy, maybe even guilt, pushes him to say yes. Jake becomes the unlikely hero not because he is perfect, but because he is brave enough to stand in front of a storm. He studies the case, connects with Carl Lee on a human level, and begins to understand the emotional truth behind his action. He doesn't see Carl Lee as a criminal. He sees him as a father trapped between fear and justice. As Jake prepares for the battle ahead, he realizes he is fighting more than a legal war. He is fighting centuries of prejudice, political ambition, and public anger. This case becomes his burden, his mission, and ultimately, his transformation. And once he steps forward, there is no turning back. On the other side of the battlefield stands District Attorney Rufus Buckley, a man driven not by justice, but by ambition. To him, the Carl Lee case is not about a hurting father or a broken child. It is a spotlight, a ladder to political success. Buckley sees the trial as his chance to make headlines, to prove his toughness, and to gain the approval of those in power. And he will do whatever it takes to win. Buckley's strategy is simple, but ruthless. He wants the jury to see Carl Lee as a man who willingly planned a murder. He wants to strip away the emotional layers and present the shooting as an act of cold-blooded revenge. He avoids talking about Tanya's suffering because he knows the truth is not on his side. Instead, he focuses on the law, the technicalities, and the fear that if Carl Lee walks free, people will believe they can take justice into their own hands. But that's not all. Buckley uses media, political pressure, and racial division to strengthen his case. He knows that in a town like Canton, public opinion can influence jurors, so he fuels the fire, subtly encouraging fear, subtly encouraging anger, subtly encouraging the belief that Carl Lee must be punished to maintain order. Jake can feel the prosecution's shadow everywhere. They have more resources, more influence, and a louder voice. Buckley even uses the courtroom atmosphere to manipulate everyone present, making every witness, every objection, and every piece of evidence feel like a performance designed to push the jury toward one conclusion: conviction. This is not just a legal battle, it is a political war, where every move is calculated, every word is strategic, and the truth is buried beneath ambition. As the case gains national attention, a darker force emerges from the shadows: the Ku Klux Klan. Their involvement turns the legal battle into a full-scale war. The KKK sees Carl Lee's act of violence against two white men as an attack on their power, their ideology, and their grip on the community. Their presence immediately increases the dangers surrounding everyone involved in the case. They begin with threats, anonymous calls, burning crosses, hateful messages. But their violence escalates quickly. Jake Briggins finds himself targeted simply for defending Carl Lee. Late at night, hooded figures gather near his home, sending a message that he is no longer safe. One of the most chilling scenes shows Jake's house set on fire, the flames rising like a warning from a past that refuses to die. Jake barely escapes with his family, shaken but determined to continue. Meanwhile, the Klan tries to intimidate anyone who supports Carl Lee, including his friends, potential witnesses, and even members of the jury. Their presence outside the courthouse, chanting and marching, adds fear to the already tense atmosphere. The streets become battlegrounds, where protesters and counter-protesters clash. The town is no longer just divided, it is exploding. This escalating violence reveals the true stakes of the case. It's not just about a shooting, it's about control, power, and the desperate attempt to preserve an old system built on inequality. For Carl Lee, the danger is immediate. For Jake, the danger is personal. For the community, the danger is overwhelming. Fear becomes a constant companion for everyone involved. But instead of backing down, Jake and Carl Lee push forward. Because at this point, defending the truth is no longer just about winning the case, it's about surviving the storm. Into this chaos steps Ellen Rourke, a law student with intelligence, confidence, and a spark of fearlessness. She isn't from Canton. She doesn't have personal ties to the case. She hears about it because she studies law passionately, and she believes in justice deeply. When she approaches Jake, offering her help, he worries for her safety and doubts that anyone would willingly walk into the firestorm surrounding the case. But Ellen proves her worth almost immediately. She dives into research, gathers legal precedents, and helps Jake shape a defense that goes beyond the technicalities of the law. She understands that this case is not just about statutes, it's about storytelling, empathy, and human truth. Ellen brings courage and fresh perspective, pushing Jake to see the case through a new lens. She suggests strategies nobody else would dare consider and asks the questions others overlook. Her presence, however, comes with danger. The KKK sees her as a threat, a smart woman helping a black defendant in a racially sensitive case. They target her with threats and violence. Yet she refuses to step back. Even when she is kidnapped and terrorized, she returns to the courtroom with more fire than before. Her bravery becomes a symbol of hope, showing that justice has allies in unexpected places. Jake and Ellen form a powerful partnership, one driven by moral clarity and the desire to fight for what is right. They prepare arguments, dissect the prosecution's case, and create a defense strategy that aims not just to protect Carl Lee, but to reveal the humanity behind his decision. Together, they stand not as lawyers in a courtroom, but as warriors in a battle where truth must triumph over fear. The trial begins with the weight of an entire nation watching. The courtroom is packed every single day. Reporters, protesters, law students, and citizens who simply want to witness history. The atmosphere is electric, tense, and unpredictable. Each side enters the courtroom with their own version of the truth, and every moment feels like it could shift the direction of the case. Jake Briggins stands at the defensetable.com on the outside, but carrying the pressure of the entire community on his shoulders. The judge tries to maintain order, but it's nearly impossible with so much emotion in the room. The prosecution brings in witnesses to paint Carl Lee as a calculating murderer, someone who planned the attack in advance. Buckley delivers arguments with confidence, using the law as a weapon. Jake counters with compassion, reasoning, and powerful cross-examinations. He questions police procedures, exposes inconsistencies, and reminds the jury of the trauma Tanya endured. He asks them to consider not just what Carl Lee did, but why he did it. Witness after witness takes the stand. Some collapse under pressure. Others reveal truths unintentionally. Every moment is a tug-of-war between heart and law. The trial scenes are some of the most gripping in the movie because they capture the raw essence of justice: messy, emotional, and fragile. The courtroom becomes a battleground of ethics, where the jurors must wrestle with a conflict between legal obligation and moral instinct. As the trial progresses, tension builds like a storm. The town outside grows louder. The jurors grow more conflicted, and Jake begins to realize that winning this case will not come from logic alone. It will require something deeper, something that forces the jury to truly see Carl Lee's pain. When the moment arrives for closing arguments, the courtroom falls silent. Jake Briggins knows this is his final chance. No more evidence, no more objections, no more questioning. Only words remain, and those words must change the hearts of 12 jurors. Jake takes a deep breath, steps forward, and begins one of the most powerful speeches in courtroom drama history. He doesn't start with legal jargon. He begins with Tonya. He walks the jury through her pain step by step, detail by detail, forcing them to feel the terror she felt, the helplessness she endured, and the innocence that was stolen from her. His voice breaks at moments, not because he is acting, but because he is emotionally invested in the truth. The jurors listen, their eyes reflecting shock, empathy, and sorrow. Then comes the moment that defines the entire film. After describing Tanya's suffering, Jake pauses. The courtroom holds its breath, and he says, "Now imagine she's white." With that single sentence, everything shifts. Those 5 words break through the walls of bias, forcing the jury to confront something they had avoided: empathy. Suddenly, Tonya is not just a victim. They see her as their daughter, their child, someone who deserves justice without color attached to it. Jake's closing argument is not just persuasive, it's transformative. It pierces through prejudice, through anger, through fear. It invites the jurors to see the world from a different perspective, to step into Carl Lee's shoes for a moment, to understand that his actions were driven by love, not hatred. By the time Jake finishes, the courtroom is silent. Nothing more needs to be said. The truth has been spoken. After hours of intense deliberation, the jury returns. The courtroom is packed beyond capacity. Families hold hands, reporters whisper, and Carl Lee stands tall, but anxious. Jake feels his heart pounding. Every second feels heavier than the last. When the jury foreman announces the verdict not guilty, the room erupts in shock and emotional release. Carl Lee closes his eyes, letting the weight of months of fear fall from his shoulders. Jake exhales in relief, realizing that justice, for once, has prevailed in a place where it rarely does. Supporters celebrate, while others sit stunned, unable to process how a black man accused of killing 2 white men could walk free. The verdict divides the town once again. But something different lingers in the air, a sense that empathy has broken through barriers that once seemed unbreakable. The final scenes show Jake visiting Carl Lee's home. Carl Lee invites him to join his family for a meal, a simple act, yet deeply meaningful. Carl Lee tells Jake that he never believed a white man would fight for him the way Jake did. Jake responds with humility, knowing that their bond goes far beyond lawyer and client. This ending is not perfect, nor does it claim to solve America's deep-rooted issues of race and justice. But it offers hope. It reminds us that sometimes change begins with empathy, understanding, and the courage to stand on the right side of truth, even when the world is against you. A Time to Kill ends not with victory, but with Healinja. Small crack of light in a long tunnel of darkness. And it asks every one of us the ultimate question: what would you do to protect the ones you love? As our journey through A Time to Kill reaches its final chapter, we're left standing in the echoes of a courtroom where justice, morality, fear, and hope collided with extraordinary force. This story is not just a legal drama, it is a profound reflection of human nature, a mirror held up to the flaws, strengths, and complexities within all of us. And even after the final verdict is spoken, the emotional weight of this film stays with us, pressing upon the heart, lingering in the mind, challenging us to think more deeply about the world we live in. Throughout this incredible story, we witnessed a father's unbearable pain, a community's explosive tension, and a trial that pushed every character to the edge of their humanity. Carl Lee Hailey's decision was born from a place most of us hope we never have to experience, a place where the law seems powerless, where justice feels distant, and where a parent's love becomes the only remaining shield. His actions were not simple. They were not clean. They were not easy to judge. But that is exactly why this story remains one of the most emotionally charged courtroom dramas ever told. We also watched Jake Briggs transform from a small-town lawyer into a symbol of moral courage. He chose to stand in the fire when he could have walked away. He faced hatred, threats, violence, and the destruction of everything he had built. Yet he kept fighting, not because Carl Lee was perfect, but because he believed that justice must be guided by humanity. Jake's journey reminds us that one person standing firm, speaking truth, refusing to surrender can shift the course of an entire community. Ellen Rourke's bravery, the Hailey family's resilience, the town's deep fractures, and the oppressive presence of the KKK all created a storm that pushed every character to reveal who they truly were. And in the heart of that storm, during the closing argument, we were confronted with a painful truth. Empathy is powerful enough to shake the foundations of prejudice. Now imagine she's white. 5 words that shattered the quiet, cracked open the walls of bias, and forced everyone to see clearly. Evan. If only for a moment, the film ends not with a triumphant cheer, but with quiet humanity. Carl Lee inviting Jake to share a simple meal with his family is a gesture that speaks louder than any closing line. It is a reminder that healing begins with connection, with understanding, with recognizing the humanity in one another, regardless of color. A Time to Kill is more than a movie. It is a conversation starter, a moral challenge, and a timeless exploration of justice in a world that often fails to deliver it fairly. It invites us to reflect not only on the characters, but on ourselves. What would we do in Carl Lee's place? What would we sacrifice for the ones we love? And how far should justice bend to consider the truth of human suffering? Thank you for taking this journey with us today. If this story moved you, inspired you, or made you think differently about justice, compassion, and courage, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue exploring powerful stories like this, stories that matter, stories that stay with us long after the screen fades to black. Thanks for watching.